Here with me in the studio today is Shanae Anderson, the Curator of Education at the Sedgwick County Zoo. And it looks like we have some guests other than you. It looks like we have a snake here.
We did. You know, it's always interesting when the zoo comes out because you never know what we'll bring with us. I know we were joking before I went on that, you know, did we bring anything big? And my general rule is if it can eat me, it doesn't go in the van with me. I think that's a pretty good rule to follow. This definitely, though, is a very interesting snake. This happens to be a sand boa. Now, generally when people think of boa constrictors, they think large animals. But this is actually the entire size this boa will ever get. So it's a really unique type of boa constrictor. Now, if you're comfortable, Dorothy, I want you to go ahead and try and touch it and tell the audience what it feels like.
It feels like grainy.
Grainy. Grainy is a good description.
Oh, it feels dry and grainy.
The sand boa gets its name because in Africa where it lives, what it does is it burrows down underneath the sand. So it has to have a little bit of a rougher skin so that as it goes through that sand, it can go ahead and maneuver itself underneath the ground when it needs to. It also has, I don't know if we can get a close-up of his head, but it has a little bit of, I guess, an overbite. The upper jaw protrudes out over the lower jaw so that when they are digging through the sand, they don't get sand in their mouth, which is, I wouldn't want to have sand in my mouth either. So, so those are two really great benefits that this particular small snake has. A question that people always ask us, though, is how can you tell a snake from a lizard? There's three easy ways, and it's not tail. There are lizards, even lizards right here in Kansas, that don't have tails at all. So the things to look at first are eyelids. Snakes don't have eyelids. Lizards do have eyelids. Some lizards don't use their eyelids, but lizards do have them. The other one are ear holes. Snakes don't have them. Lizards do. So a snake does hear. They hear by feeling vibrations, just like if you were to put your hand on your throat. When you talk, you can feel the vibration. That's how a snake hears. And if you can see all those specialized scales there on their belly, those scales called scutes are what allow them then to pick up those vibrations.
Wow.
The third thing we look at is the tail. This is where I like to call the everything hole. That's where, depending on whether they're live birth or babies, they'd either have birth or lay eggs, and it's also where they go to the bathroom. Snakes have very short tails. As you can see, the length of his tail versus the length of his body is pretty small. Lizards have long tails. A neat thing about this particular snake, the sand boa, is also the mimicry, or their tail looking just like their head. And if I can get them situated right there, you can see that you couldn't necessarily see which way they were coming or going because that tail looks like their head at the same time. Now, we talked a little bit about snake. We can switch gears just a little bit and look at a lizard as well. Now, this happens to be a leopard gecko. This is a light-phased leopard gecko. They come in a variety of different phases. And as you can tell, its tail is about the same length of its body. Here you can also very definitely see the ear holes on the side of the head, and she's going to hide from us for a little bit, but you can also see those eyelids. Now, they don't necessarily use their eyelids a whole lot. Instead, they can use their tongues as a windshield wiper to wipe off their eyeballs when they get dirty. So I guess be glad you're not a gecko, or you'd have your eyeballs licked off all the time. These particular leopard geckos are also pretty neat because they store fat in their tail, and they do have the ability to drop their tails. They do that as a defense mechanism. If an animal is attacking them, they'll drop the tail. That predator will jump on the tail, eat the tail, and the lizard will get away. So it's a pretty good thing. The tail in most lizards, if it is dropped, will grow back, but not, and the leopard gecko is one of those. But each time it's a little smaller and a little thinner. This particular animal happens to be a female. When she's gravid or when she has eggs, they won't eat. If you can imagine, it's a pretty small little body, and the eggs are about the size of marbles. Wow. So there's just not a whole lot of room for food. So during that time, she would use all the fat in her tail to survive off of. Now, I know I can tell you're fascinated by animals, and that's great. One of the things that's important for people to know is right now we still have 2 Winter Wednesdays going on at the zoo. Winter Wednesdays are one of the best deals out there in the city. You can get into Sedgwick County Zoo for just $2.50. Today is 70 degrees. What a beautiful day to get out, enjoy nature. We don't get outside enough, so get outside, enjoy nature, and only spend $2.50 to enjoy, you know, a world-famous zoo. Next Wednesday is our last Winter Wednesday of the year, and starting March 1st, we go to normal summer hours, which means we'll be open from 8:30 to 5 o'clock. Now, if you have kids, I'm going to bet, do you have kids yet?
Oh, no.
No. Oh, no.
Not
Okay.
yet.
I happen to have 2 little ones at home, and as spring break comes up, a lot of people are wondering what should we do with the kids during spring break. And we have a great program coming up called our Spring Fling for first graders through 5th graders, where they can spend from 8 to 5 at the zoo Monday through Friday, the entire week of spring break, learning about animals, celebrating nature, being outdoors, and just really investigating and exploring. So if you're feeling bad because you can't get out to do something fun with your kids at spring break, send them to the zoo. We'll have a great time with them.
That is awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And thank you for bringing the cutest little lizard and snake here. Coming up next is Melissa Houston from the Humane Society with this week's adorable pet, Panda.